powered by the Zapata Brand Studio. This is Straight Outta JerZey with Jersey Jay-Z.
Guys, Joe Zapata here, and I'm here one half of the Howard Stern of Pro Wrestling podcast, the one and only Mike Monte from Monte and The Pharaoh. What's up, Mike?
Hey, Joey, how are you, buddy? What's going
Good,
on,
man? Good, man. You know, I love you guys' show. You guys are one of the best here in New York. The way your style is unfiltered, you guys are one of the best around.
I appreciate that, man.
I wanted to ask you. I grew up obviously, and I'm 50. I'm in my 50s. Grew up on old school wrestling. You guys probably did the same thing, I assume, because you guys have a niche. You guys get the old school wrestlers on there and you interview them. How did you start growing up into wrestling? How did you get started into it?
Honestly, it was Jimmy, actually, way back. Jimmy had moved to New York from New Jersey, and he actually was a friend of one of my friends.
Okay.
And he was talking about pro wrestling, right? And, I thought it was a joke. I got to be honest with you, Joe. It's like, no one wanted to talk about pro wrestling. It's embarrassing, right?
Mm-hmm.
But, he kind of turned me on to it. And then I remember, just happens to be this Thursday, we've got Don Morocco on. And I remember Morocco had just, Jimmy was kind of turning me on to pro wrestling. And then there's Don Morocco, right? He has the Asiatic spike. Back in the day, for the younger fans that watch your show, right? He used to have this taped up thumb, and he used to jam it into their throat. It's not like the wrestling nowadays.
No.
Morocco was the man, and it was like from that point forward, I was always in awe of these guys, right? Because they were always in great shape. Yeah. Let me put it this way: they're always big, strong, right? And for some teenager, it was pretty impressive. And then they were always vocal, right? They always spoke out, and they were never afraid to say what they wanted to say. And it was like from that point forward, I was hooked.
Yep, exactly. Now, how did you and Jimmy meet? Just through friends? That's how you and Jimmy met?
I just met him in junior high, and again, we weren't, when life went on, I hadn't seen Jimmy in 20 something years. And then I actually was invited, I don't know, 2017, 16. Some guy wrote me and said, "Hey, I'd like you to come on my radio show," right? So
Okay.
I know nothing about this. And it's almost like the beginning of podcasting at some point, right? It wasn't even being called podcasting at this time. So I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I'll go on can I curse on here?
Do whatever you want, man.
Yeah. So I was like, you know what, bucket list, go on it, pretty cool. And then the guy asked me to come on week after week, and I was having a good time with it, just shits and giggles. And then I don't know how Jimmy heard me, but somehow Jimmy got in touch with me, and then he would critique me on the radio every so often. And then he ended up coming on the show. And long story short, some other radio station reaches out. They like me and Jimmy. And then Monte and The Pharaoh were born, right? And
Wow.
that's just really just had it happen. But Joey, to be honest with you, right? I mean, we're talking honestly here. There was no radio station, right? It was some dude in a room with a friggin' camera, right?
Yep.
And and I mean, so it was what it is. That's it. That's that's how it goes.
Yeah, Sean Oliver, I always, we're friends with Sean. I always love doing his stuff, watching his stuff. The first time I heard of you guys actually was because a guy named Dan Marati. Remember Dan? He actually was bringing you guys up, saying there was problems with you guys. I don't know what happened. Now, can you tell me that whole situation with you and Dan Marati? What happened?
So I'll try to bring us here, right? So here, when Jimmy and I are doing it here, we're talking about when we first start off. We're just talking about wrestling, right? Like Monday night Raw recaps, pay-per-view recaps, and at some point I turned to Jimmy. I'm like, I can't do this shit, dude. I just can't. I can't talk about this. I'm not any good at it. I don't love it that much that I'm so emotional. I mean, you know JD from New York, right?
Yes, I do.
This guy gets so emotional over pro wrestling. I'm like, what is wrong with you, bro? Take it easy. It's fake wrestling. Stop. What do you get so upset for? I mean, so I think to myself, so I said to Jimmy, I just can't do this, right?
Okay.
I cannot do this.
Okay.
And, so then we start doing some interviews with wrestlers, which was cool, right? Because, but again, we're learning from the OGs like the Sean Olivers or the
Correct.
Hannibals of the
Hmm.
world, right? The Dan Marattis of the world,
Yeah,
right?
Damarati.
And I'm like, even as we're going that way, I turn to Jimmy and I'm like, I can't do this either. I just, it's okay to ask a few things, but it's like,
Hmm.
I don't really want to know about their match, with Bob Backlund in 1983 and how it was like to hold an armbar in Madison Square Garden for the next 10 minutes, right? I'm like, I cannot do this.
Yeah.
But what I want to do is I want to know how these guys think. What do they think about, you know, listen, Joe, you know as well as I do, these guys got stories and the shit,
Hmm.
the shit they pulled off back then. I mean,
Of
my
course.
God, right?
Hmm.
Sexual abuse,
Oh yeah.
drugs,
Hmm.
rape,
Hmm.
murder. You know, old school guys like us, we got a list of stories. I mean, unfortunately, they've been run through the mill already, right? Because these
Correct.
guys have all done. There's no new stories to tell.
Hmm.
But back then there were good stories to tell.
Yep.
But anyway, there was a point in the show. So me and Jimmy had left this original radio station. We actually went to a TV station, and it was very well, it was professionally run.
Hmm.
It was very wired tight, and Maradi is I liked his little. He had this place where he shot out of, and I was always impressed by it. But
Yeah.
again, I wasn't really watching any of these shoot interviews. I liked Oliver because he would do stupid shit like
Yes.
Omeg and shit like that, right?
Yes. Yes.
But Maradi was it was about Hannibal, Maradi, all these guys. Just get the dirt.
Yep.
What's the dirt? Get the dirt. Get the dirt. And I wasn't even into getting the dirt either. Anyway, long story short, me and Jimmy one time on air, someone brought up Boston wrestling, and Jimmy says. Yeah, he sucks or something. I don't know. He says something,
Something
right?
like that.
And
Yeah. Mhm.
at that point, I started watching it, and then the next episode me and Jimmy did, I just couldn't stop talking how bad Marati was, right? And we
Mhm.
just kept going and going and
Mhm.
going. And at this point, he's kind of feuding with Tony Atlas, who
Yes.
me and Jimmy are pretty close with,
Mhm.
and at that point, the feud begins, right? And
Mhm.
you have Marty Jannetty having problems with Dan Marati. You had Tony
Yes.
Atlas having problems with Dan Marati, and we were literally killing that guy every week. And
Mhm.
his fans would come on and attack us. And I mean, we called the Thursday Night Wars, right? Because it
Thursday
was
Night
like
War.
it
Yep.
went on for almost like
Yeah, it went on a long time.
8 months, right? It was like
Yes.
him we were going back and forth, back and forth.
Mhm.
And I remember Marati had called me on the phone, and I said, "Look, because Marati, okay." So I don't know if you remember this, Joey, but Marati had done an episode where he he has Tony Atlas's stepdaughter call in,
Yes, I remember that one. Yes, I do.
and at that point, I was like, "This is probably the lowest shit I've ever seen. Like,
I remember.
this is out of control, right? It's like keep it in the realm of the
Mhm.
make believe world of pro wrestling. Now you're bringing family members into it. And I was like,
Yes.
this is a mess." And I called Marati and I said, "Look, dude, give Atlas a break. I mean, what are you doing?
Mhm.
And I actually didn't call him. Actually, Marty Jannetty called me and then got him on the call. And
Yes.
I said, he said, well, Tony owes me $700, right? So I go, I'll pay the $700, but in turn, you can never say another fucking thing about Tony Atlas, right?
Wow.
Ever, ever.
Wow.
And Marati wouldn't take the money because
Mm.
Marati knew where his bread was buttered, right? He knew he
Mhm.
had to keep going that Tony
Mhm.
Atlas attack. So at that point, you know, we were we were uh, we were really killing him at some point, and Tony Atlas got unglued, and Tony, myself, and Jimmy were drinking in studio, and then we did a show, and Tony was totally blitzed, and that's where he's like screaming about his social security check.
Yes, I remember that
And
one.
dude, Joe, he was so fucking pissed. I'm telling you, man.
He looked
Like
pissed on it.
it was like the Hulk, man. He was like gonna
I remember
rip
that.
the studio apart. And then shockingly enough, I get a call one day that Dan Marotti passed away.
Yeah, I
And
remember that. Mhm.
Jimmy at the point, Jimmy was working for me at one of my places. I had hired him, and I called Jimmy over and said Marotti died. And I gotta tell you, Joe, like we felt bad. Like we felt bad, like with all the bullshit, right?
Yep.
All right, I didn't like Marotti. I did not
Mhm.
like Marotti at all.
Mhm.
I didn't think he treated the wrestlers well. But when he passed away, I felt bad, and I remember I said to Jimmy, "What are we going to do?" And I've never revealed this conversation, so I might as well reveal it now. So I said, "Jimmy, what are we doing?" And he goes, "What do you mean?" I said, "He's passed. Tomorrow's Thursday night. There's two ways we can go with this. We can go the way that I could have Dan Marotti call in from hell, and we could have
Mm-hmm.
a conversation from Dan from hell, or we could actually do a tribute for the guy."
Mm-hmm.
And we both felt bad, right? So,
Yeah, of course.
but to be honest, it was a conversation like which way are we
Mm-hmm.
going to do this?
Sure.
And you know, it, I don't know if you ever saw that one, Joe. We actually had Marotti's ex-wife call in.
I
Did you
think I
ever?
remember that. Yes, I remember that.
So that
Yes.
was a classic when she was hitting on Jimmy Farrow.
Yes.
It was one of the dude. The Thursday Night Wars were off the hook, dude. It was
Yeah,
really
you guys are nuts, man. Nuts.
so we decided. I called John Cena Senior up and I said, "Look, we want to do a tribute to Dan." And again, we weren't seriously thinking about doing the call from hell, right? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But we had to have the
I had conversation.
conversation, right?
Yeah.
Because I had drew it up, right? So Jimmy and I scripted out stuff, and I had drawn out like Jimmy Snuka calls in, and then he
Mm-hmm.
calls Marotti over, and then we have this whole conversation. But and you know what? If we would have done that, would it have been that bad? No, because it would have been in the shtick that we're doing it. But in the reality of it is, Dan Marotti did do a lot for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
People are, look, Joe, you're doing it for people now, right? You,
Yeah.
you don't
Yeah.
know what's going on in people's lives, and
No, you don't.
you might be changing one or two people. And I know
Yeah.
Marotti did really well for a lot of people, and
Mm-hmm.
I thought we sent them off with a very good tribute. And to this day, I still feel bad that he passed away.
Yep.
You
Yep.
know, but
100%.
but I will stay honest to myself. I did not like the guy, and I will stand by that.
Yep. Okay. You guys built a huge reputation, like the Howard Stern of pro wrestling. You landing Raw unfiltered. When you guys did your show, you guys said, "Hey, this is the route we want to go. We want to be like Howard Stern, sort of ask the hard questions."
So that came over the like people think we tagged ourselves with that. We used to call ourselves Long Island's number one pro wrestling podcast, right?
Yeah. Hmm.
But in the reality of it is the internet started tagging us. I don't know how, why, where. It said their
Hmm.
Howard Stern style
Yeah.
of wrestle. So I said, you know what, we'll use that tag. And considering how left Howard is at this point, we're like
Yeah.
old
Mhm.
Howard Stern maybe, but
Yes.
yeah. So this is a problem between me and Jimmy now, and I'll be honest with you now, Joe. This is why you haven't seen Jimmy on the show for a while,
Hmm.
because Jimmy felt we were going way too much Jerry Springer, right? It was like just nonstop beating the shit out of whoever, whether it
Yeah.
be Dave LaGreca, Bully Ray, whatever. But honestly, Joe, I got to be honest with you. You know, we're all right. Jimmy's a very talented performer.
Hmm.
Um, but to be honest, we're late 50-year-old guys that watch wrestling, but really aren't the market for pro wrestling anymore.
Hmm.
I don't know if you feel you are, Joe,
I
but
feel the same way. The
right.
wrestling today, SummerSlam was today. I didn't watch it. I don't care.
It's we're not what they're looking for, right?
No.
It's young kids, and when people tear it apart now, I'm like, well, you know what? You're 40, you're 50.
Hmm.
Remember when you were 12? All the shit was great. When
Yeah,
I
of
was
course.
17, fuck, I thought it was the greatest shit I ever saw. No matter, and
Hmm.
dude, if you ever watch old wrestling matches, they're awful. They're
Yeah.
just fucking awful. So it's like
Hmm.
I think to myself, but the point is like I want real life subjects, man.
Yep.
Again, the women in wrestling, what women had to have endured in life now, but what they endure in pro wrestling, the bullshit. I
Yes.
want to know about that. I want to know what they feel. I want to know.
Yeah.
I want to know how Tony Atlas feels when he abused 18 women. When I
Yes.
mean abused, I
Hmm.
mean
Yes.
had sex with 18 women and threw them out the door afterwards like trash, right?
Hmm.
And I'm not saying Tony did that. I'm just using an
No.
example, but
Example. Yes.
you know,
100%.
or whatever the case is. And I call it like I see it, man.
Hmm.
Again, I think you, me, Hannibal, the kid from England, how popular you are, or there's levels of popularity, right?
Correct.
And let's
Correct.
get realistic here, man. we're only as popular as you're only as popular as whatever. You're not the
Yes.
top of the top.
Hmm.
You're not going to be in the wrestling world. You're not going to be the Undertaker. You're not
Hmm.
going to be Stephanie McMahon. You're just not that, right? I
Hmm.
mean, I think the highest you would get in any sort of level as an individual would I'll use like it to me is like maybe a JD from New York, right? Who's
Okay.
been doing it since 2000 and
Yes.
1995, right? I mean, you're a babe in the woods in this shit. How long you
Yes.
been doing it?
I've only been doing it 2 years. That's it. I'm Babe in
2
the
years,
Woods.
and look how popular you've
Yeah,
become.
and I've gotten a lot of people on, a lot,
Yeah,
so it's
these guys
crazy.
have a 20-year lead on you.
Yeah.
I mean,
Uh,
again, I don't have a lot of respect for Hannibal. I'll be honest with you. I think he sucks. But
yeah.
the one thing he was smart. He was the first one to get into this thing.
Mhm.
And whether his 600
Mhm.
subscribers are real or not, who cares? Who gives a shit, right? But the fact of
Right.
the matter, I give him the respect that he was an OG in this.
Yes, he
You know,
was. But he's different from you for a couple of reasons. And one is he would never do this with me because I'm beneath him. And it's not fair. Like that's the way he has a real bad attitude, ego problem. And I've dealt with him once. He wasn't really nice with me. So forget it. But you know what? And I've always appreciated you always ask the hard questions that always are like, oh, I'm sometimes scared to ask. Like I'm like, I've had a lot of these guests on, and I'm like, sometimes I don't want to ask, but you are like, boom, like with Joe Henning. I was shocked you asked that question about his father, just because but you asked him straight out, said, and
But
he got a
let
little
me
upset.
be honest with you, Joe. Did you think that question was out of line?
I did
Be
not.
honest.
I did not, but I don't know how I would have asked that because I would have. It's tough because I want to get it, want to know, but I don't know if I probably maybe would ask them beforehand. Say, is it okay to ask about your father? I don't know
So
what happened there.
here's a rule of mine.
Okay.
Guests don't get any questions. They ask, and I go, nope, nope.
Oh, really?
You're
Okay.
not getting any questions.
Okay.
Here's the thing, man. I've known you for a bit now, right?
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
a respectful,
Yeah.
nice
Mm-hmm.
gentleman, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think Jimmy and I are respectful, right? But
Very.
it's not going to weird. I'm not going to veer off asking the question. Listen, your father OD'd and
Mm-hmm.
killed himself.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's out of line to ask someone, are you fucking pissed at your father that he couldn't get his shit straight?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Again, I know it's an emotional thing. I get
Yes.
it. I totally understand it. But, I'm sorry. But, hey, I'm going to ask you a question. I don't know. I'll use Rip Rogers, for example. Rip's a great guy. Nice
Yeah.
guy. Great guy.
Mm-hmm.
How did you feel about, women being, for lack of a better term, raped on a regular basis under all you wrestlers, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, how do you feel about that? Or do
Yeah.
you have any kind of moral value? I'm sorry, you worked under Jake Roberts' father, Grizzly Smith, right?
Mm-hmm.
You had no problem working under him. I got to ask you, when he was bringing in 14-year-olds and fucking them, you
Mm-hmm.
okay with that?
Yep.
I just want to know, you know?
Yep.
Or one of my main guys that I just can't stand, Joe. Again, if anyone's watching, this is my opinion only. This is not Joe's opinion. So, Mario Mancini. I'm
Okay.
sorry. 1983, you watched supposedly Vince McMahon raped Rita Charlton, and she told you, and you did nothing. But now in 2000 something, you're gonna
Mm-hmm.
say something to the
That's
point that
right.
we aggravated you so much, bro, that you had to bring her on to like say, "Oh, I didn't want him to say anything." Well, I
Mm-hmm.
don't care whether she wanted you to say anything. Someone told you about a crime and you didn't do a thing about it.
Mm-hmm.
End of story.
Yep.
That
Mm-hmm.
is all. So I
Mm-hmm.
don't care if someone told you that. Come on.
100%. You're right. You're 100% right.
So I call bullshit on a lot of these guys,
You
right?
do. You do.
The fact of the matter is, you wanted to collect your pay, and you know what? There's nothing wrong with it because you know what? Maybe I would have done the same thing. I want to collect my paycheck,
Mm-hmm.
but don't be better than now. Then don't come out of the woodwork in 2025 acting holier than thou. All of a sudden, you're going to speak out against Vince McMahon. Fuck you, bro.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right. You're
Too
100.
late. You're late to the dance. You're late to
Mm-hmm.
the dance. And
Mm-hmm.
this list goes on and on and on with a lot of these
Mm-hmm.
guys, right?
Yeah,
And women,
exactly.
Yeah.
Did the Joe Henning did you guys make up or was that no, it's over? How do you feel?
It was a weird interview, dude, because it was
I
like
know.
after that, all of a sudden he's laughing again, and then he's crying, and then he's yelling. It was just back and forth. And I will tell you this: I give a lot of these guys a lot of credit. You know why? Because they could just hang up the phone, right? And
Hmm.
if they were in studio with us, it's a little more difficult, right?
Hmm.
But they could just hang up the goodbye. I'm leaving the interview, but they
Yeah.
hang in there because you know what, they're men of their word, and you know what, in the end, I think. Listen, in the end, I know they think Jimmy and I are respectful, and we're not trying to pull some bullshit over it, right?
Hmm.
We're just asking the question, and
Yes.
again, you have a right not to answer the question,
Correct. You're right.
right? I'm not gonna be like, oh, Now I will tell you in studio, it's I don't have a problem with studio either, but we've literally been threatened numerous times in studio. Like, I mean, guys have
Mhm.
gotten up, they're like, we're gonna fucking beat your ass, right? But it was like, what do you want me to do?
Yeah. Who was your favorite guest you had on?
Wow, that's tough. The most nervous I was for Bob Backlund because
Really?
yeah, Bob Backlund, as much as I hated him growing up, and I hated him because I was just not into the good guys, right? So
Okay.
I didn't hate him for any other reason. Always had
Hmm.
respect for him, but as I gotten older, I realized that guy, his moral compass. Yeah, this is a good guy, right? This guy had a real moral compass. He could have. He didn't want to, like, he was asked to turn bad guy. Again, all these. That's the other thing, Joe. We could get into a million things, like these
Yeah.
wrestling experts out there that know everything. Oh, they know
Yes.
all the stories. No, you don't know shit, right?
No.
You really don't know shit. I
No.
know all the stories. You know why? Because they tell me on the side, and we have a lot of talks. Because they know I'm not going to go on air and tell the stories. I know. Look, I know I'm veering off. I'll go back to back on
No,
this.
that's okay. No.
I know so much about Hulk Hogan, the reality of what happened.
Hmm.
Like, I have all the insights, but it's not my place to tell that story.
Yeah.
Because in the reality, there's a daughter that never got to see her father, and they never made up, right?
Hmm.
Um, that there's a wrestler, Brutus Beefcake, who was friends with Hogan forever,
And
that
Miss
never got to,
Beefcake.
yeah, and they never got to reconcile that relationship.
Yep.
So to me, there's bigger things than whether Hulk Hogan OD'd or whatever else. But like I said, I know all the stories because I know a bunch of
Hmm.
people on the end.
Yep.
But it's like, but back to Backlund is that Backlund, when he lost the belt, I think Vince wanted him to dye his hair black and be a bad guy, and he wouldn't do it because his daughter was in school and they didn't want his daughter to be tortured. Um, and he also didn't want to let down the kids. He just
Hmm.
didn't want to do that. He did not want to do that. And even when he does come back as a heel, he's really not a heel. He's just a guy that wants the best things for the world and sick and tired of,
Hmm.
corruption, right?
Hmm.
Crazy, whatever. But
Yeah.
I would say that was the most nervous I was ever at.
Really? Wow.
The one guy I didn't like, but now I realize it was really early on in me and Jimmy's interviewing, so maybe we are just being a little over emotional with Scott Hall. We felt that he's a bit of an arrogant prick. I thought,
Really?
yeah, he
Scott
thought,
Hall, yeah.
I'm Scott Hall. I'm the great
I remember
wrestler.
seeing that one. Yes.
Yeah,
Scott Hall,
but then
yes.
again, Joe, to be honest with you, we were so early on in that we
Hmm.
just sometimes you just read things wrong. But
Hmm.
overall, I got to tell you, every guest we've had on has been really good. I would tell you the worst interview we did was Diamond Dallas Page. That was a fucking hour. That was an hour infomercial, and it just kept going, and I couldn't wait for it to end. And I was like, "Oh my god!" Because he wouldn't leave. It was like hour and 10,
Hmm.
hour and 20, hour.
Hmm.
Get the fuck off! I was like, "Oh my god, dude!" Like it was just like, if I heard more about DDP, dude,
Maybe be for yoga. You probably
I
gonna kill
couldn't,
yourself.
I couldn't do it. I was like, the guy had his shtick. So if we asked him about anything, it was just he rolled into the shtick.
Hmm.
DDP,
Everything, huh?
okay, DDP.
Hmm.
He told a story about Triple H that went on for fucking 40 minutes, and I was like, this is the worst story I ever heard in
Hmm.
my life.
Wow.
Just end the show, please.
Any guest ever like screw you over?
How?
Like maybe with money, maybe with something else, you know?
So that's the weird thing too. So we built relationships with a lot of agents there, and
Yes.
again, if
Eric Sims
anyone's
is
not
great.
right, Eric Sims is one of them. There's a bunch of them
Yeah,
that
there's
we've
much of them. Yep.
used, right? So, but in the beginning, we paid, right?
Yeah. I
I
paid
mean,
too for
it's just
some.
the way it was. But as we've evolved, we don't really pay
Yeah.
anymore, right?
Yeah.
So there's not really
Same with
any
me.
kind of money exchange, right? So uh, because actually we're giving them more than we're getting
Correct.
back, right? So
Correct. Mm-hmm.
and I'm being 100% honest there,
Yep.
right? They're getting their shit out there, and they're getting in
Yep.
the dirt sheets, and they're being relevant. I mean, the one thing I would say, if it ended tomorrow, Jimmy and I have really, at least for our little piece of the pie, have turned a worm on some stuff, right? So it's
Mm-hmm.
like, you have the Dan Marati wars,
Mm-hmm.
the Marty Jannetty issues, fucking
Mm-hmm.
the Tony Atlas issues. I mean, the Ring Boy scandal.
Oh,
That
geez,
thing was a
another.
dead subject, Joe, until me and Jimmy brought it up on the show, and we brought it to life. And
Mm-hmm.
I could go on and on and on. I got like 10 examples. Again, if I was like these arrogant wrestling experts who think they're so important they could write a book,
Yep.
right? Which is ridiculous. In my,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
you could just let me rant all day long.
No, no, go ahead. I want to hear about some of these
But
stories.
it's like we
I've
could
been there.
actually write a book about what we've done over the eight years and what we actually had turned. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, listen, man. There's just you're a really nice guy. I don't even know how you deal with it, dude, because there's a lot of scumbags in this whole thing.
There are a lot. I actually had someone who you had on your podcast who just didn't show up for me twice.
Who
Was
was it?
Gorgeous George.
Really?
Yeah, Stephanie, like we were coming on. She was all ready to come on. Then she said she wasn't ready on makeup wise, and then she's scared of the camera. I don't know what's going on. I was so nice to her. I was like, she just flaked out on me. I don't know, bro. And she's, I texted her, "Are you okay?" Nothing. She just flaked out on me.
And then they don't even answer you anymore.
No, no.
So here's a rule, dude. I try to tell people this all the time too. Once they stop answering, it's
Mm-hmm.
over. Just let it go, right?
Mm-hmm.
It just let it go. Again, I think it's a look. That's a big deal with me, right? If you
Mm-hmm.
book with us and
Yep.
then look, things happen, I get it.
Yep.
But if you book with us and then no show or you do that kind of bullshit,
Mm-hmm.
it's on, baby. We're gonna take you, we're gonna shred you, and we're gonna swallow you and spit you back out and eat you
Mm-hmm.
again.
Yep.
And look, Joe, look how much work you put into this.
Yeah, I
It's a
do a
lot of
lot.
work. It's a
Yeah.
lot of
It's a
work.
lot of work. Yes. It's a lot of work, man. But try to grow it. I did the same thing as you. You pay in the beginning to get your name established, and then now people just come on just to get their name out there or whatever. And I'm
Well,
friendly with all of us.
well, think about this, Joe, and I say this as respectfully as I can. This girl, right? She can't come on because she's afraid of the camera or whatever
Yeah.
else. Listen, the reality of it, all she was a cum station for the Macho Man. Let's get realistic. That's all she was. I mean, let's
Yeah.
really
Mm-hmm.
tell the truth of what's
Mm-hmm.
happening here.
Yeah.
You're
Exactly.
not that important, Stephanie. You're really
Exactly.
not that important. It's like,
Yep.
you know what? You may actually did yourself a disjustice because you could have come on this show and actually made yourself somewhat relevant again. Instead,
Mm-hmm.
you could just go, you're probably too fat and ugly now to be a cum bucket for anybody. So there you go.
See, and that's what I love about you is you're straight to the point. That New York style, you don't give a shit. You just say what's on your mind.
But you know what, though? I'm right.
You are right.
I'm right. I'm
You're
right.
100% right. You're
What did
100%
she do
right.
in the industry? No, she's known for having Macho Man's dick in her. That's her highlights of her career. Congratulations.
Yep. Is there anyone you wish you could have had on, but maybe they passed away or whatever that you said, damn, I wish I had?
So yeah, I'll give you the list right now. So Nikolai Volkov early on wanted to come
Okay.
on the show.
Okay.
And I said, Jimmy's like, let's get him on. I'm like, nah, what the fuck am I going to talk to that guy about? Nah. He literally died like 2 days later.
Oh my God.
And then so then we were going to have the reunion of Tony Atlas and Rocky Johnson. I actually have
Oh,
a
that would have been good.
artwork made by Tony, signed by Rocky and Tony.
Wow.
Right? They were coming on, and Rocky Johnson dies like a week before.
Oh my God.
And then we do a tribute show to Rocky Johnson, and Tony Atlas tells a story how young Dwayne Johnson was sitting in the hotel room with Tony while Rocky was banging some broad upstairs for the whole night. I'm like, this is a hell of a tribute show.
Yeah. Tony Atlas is great though. He's so funny.
Let's see who else that I wish we could have had on that. Listen, man, fuck. I always wanted Hogan. I got fucked out of Jesse Ventura. This agent promised him, we got him. We actually had a shitload of advertiser for him. We had a school that had their band had put together this whole march to march him into the studio. and they had the certificate for him.
Wow.
And the whole deal when he doesn't show, I call his son answers. He goes, "Yeah, we're not coming." But I don't think it was honestly. I don't think it was his fault. But say
Yeah.
love it. Yeah.
Yeah. I could have had Ric Flair, but he wanted I think like 15 grand. I'm like, dude, I'm not Joe Rogan. I'm not fucking Joe Rogan. 15 grand.
Let me ask you something.
I'm like,
If you would have done that interview for 15 grand, like after it was over, would you just like punch yourself in
I
the
would have killed
face?
myself. I was, what the fuck? Come on, man.
15 grand.
15 grand, And
Think about this. Are you crazy?
Yeah, you crazy. That's right. You see him. I mean, you see him at the big event shows. He's hardly at the booth signing. He's always drunk. I mean, I know how he is
All right.
there.
Okay, another pet peeve. If you're going to have a signing and you're going to be at the signing, before it's actually going to happen, it should be advertised. Talent will be sitting, right? Okay. I mean, listen, we did this rant too. Dustin Rhodes. I mean, come on, bro. I'm watching now. Again, I didn't go over to get an autograph from him, but I'm watching this motherfucker is sitting there the entire time. People, there was literally a crippled person. Now you're at those events all the time.
I'm at the events all the time. Yes, I help work.
Let's be honest, man. Those guys are like, these people that are there. They're like saving their last fucking penny.
Yes.
To go spend their hard-earned money on these wrestlers. They probably don't eat. They probably eat rice and hot dogs for a year to save up their money to go there and have their heroes sign their book and take a picture with them.
Yep.
And there was a literally crippled person that went up to Dustin Rhodes. Was crippled. He didn't get out of his fucking seat. But then Teal Piper comes over. He goes over, hugs her, and they take a picture. Stand. I'm like, this piece of shit.
Well, I was at the big event. And you're there too. And I go there. I help work. I actually had a pull. They asked me to get Ric Flair out of the bathroom because he was hitting on women by the bathroom and doing his thing. And I had to get him over to sign autographs.
Wow. Jimmy tells a story. His friend, he was at a wrestling match or something, and Ric Flair was in the bathroom. So the guy turns to him and he goes, "Hey, Ric Flair, incredible." And Ric Flair turns to him and goes, "I don't do business in the bathroom." Woo! And walks out. Now, come on, man. These guys are fucking nuts. They're fucking. Come on. Talk about living the gimmick, dude.
Yeah, exactly. The podcasters today, also like the Gen Z ones, they don't know the old school stuff like we do, the territory days. They don't. They just know what's today. And today's garbage. Wrestling's garbage today. It is.
Well, it's garbage to us, right? But
yeah,
to them, the younger people, I don't know. I mean, I watched SummerSlam last night. I was watching it before your show. It's whatever. Yeah. It is what it is. I mean, I will tell you this. I think if I was to tell you about wrestling now, I would say that it's always has its ups and downs, at least since I've been watching it, right? So it gets really high and then it gets really low. And the one thing that the company always had was Vince McMahon, because Vince McMahon came in the industry. He understand how it rolled, and he knew how to adjust to it. You've got TKO running it. TKO is going to milk the shit out of this thing, and then when it's dead, because it's going to die, right? The stars are almost... Listen, I like Roman Reigns. I think Roman Reigns always gives like a big fight feel no matter what match he's in. They're always pretty decent matches, but again, what drags me to the... watch a match has always been the mic work, right? I'm sure you're the same if you're an old school fan, right? And I always feel that he has that big fight feel, right? But again, it's almost over. The Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, CM Punk, it's almost done. I'm sorry, you guys could try to sell me on Obafemi all you want. Obafemi is a flash in the pan. Just the way I judge it.
Yep.
Would you buy a ticket to go see a wrestler? And if like that's why you have to go to see this person, and there's no one on that roster that I would go see at this point.
No, I can't think of anyone right now.
When you were younger, was there someone? I gotta go, Dad. You gotta bring me. Who's the guy I want to see?
Hulkster.
Yeah.
I wanted to see Hulkster all the time. I loved Hogan. He was my favorite.
That's right.
100%.
And then your last guy since then has been John Cena, and Roman Reigns is on the cusp of that. But after that, that's it.
Yeah. When you had Marty Jannetty on, I wanted to ask you. You had a very popular episode where you guys started rumbling. that was a work, right? The whole fight thing.
Okay, was it a work? Okay. This is true story.
Okay, go ahead.
So Marty came in for a signing,
Okay.
and at the time, we were new to this whole thing.
Yes.
And Joe, you could have came up to me and said, you're a big guy, you work out, you're huge, right? If you had come up to me at that point and said, I'm a wrestler and I wrestled for the WWE and I'm the nephew of Jake the Snake Roberts, right? I would have probably believed you, right? And so we had brought this guy Butcher Blackwell, and he was the cousin of Jerry Blackwell, and he was fat, and he had a beard, and we were like, "Oh shit, that's the cousin of Jerry Blackwell."
Okay.
So we bring in Marty Jannetty for a signing. So this is before we're doing interviews now, right?
Okay.
We're just doing our show, but we're like, let's do signings, right? And so I give Jimmy credit for it too, because after this, he's like, dude, we should just interview these guys. What the fuck are we doing signings for? So we bring Jannetty in. He's higher than a kite. We do an interview with him. He's so fucking high. And then of the three people that showed up for the signing, one was a little girl, and where's Marty? He's in the bathroom doing cocaine with this guy Butcher Blackwell, who since has passed. Okay. Say lovey. So I told Marty, "You're a piece of shit." I told him, "I ever see you again, right?" And then for like 3 months, just would talk shit about Marty. That's kind of where it really started.
Okay.
Right? We just started talking shit about Marty, and then Marty started writing me on Facebook. If he sees me, he's gonna kick my ass. But anyway, we get him to come in for an interview again. So I'm thinking, oh, this could be really hot, right? Now this is where the work comes in.
Okay.
The partial work.
Okay.
So before that, let's back up a little bit. So I'm new, right? I've watched wrestling, but it takes a little while to get your shit together. And I stage a fake fight with Butcher Blackwell, right? But in the meantime, like I had taken off my sunglasses, like all prepped. It was just stupid. It was bad, but I had to do it to learn. Yeah. And again, I'm sorry. To this day, and if anyone watches that, people have tried to imitate that Marty Jannetty fight. Even the Usos tried to do it recently last year with some DJ. It was so bad.
I saw that. Yes.
How bad was that? It was so bad. Anyway, so Marty comes in, and we don't like each other. Now this is a fact. And then he finally starts. I don't know if you ever talk to Marty. He's really a nice guy, and he's like, "Look, man, you know what? I shouldn't have done that." Blah 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 blah. And then he says to me, "Why don't we stage a fight?" And I'm like, "Yeah, dude, I'm not sure because Pharaoh's not there now." Right? Okay. I go, "If he's not here, I'm gonna have to tell him." And he goes, "No, that's the best part. Let's not tell him." So then I go, "Yeah, but dude, he might fucking attack you." And I was being serious. And Marty's like, "Okay, if he attacks me, what do I do?" So we're going through this whole thing. So now you see the fight. Marty does a really good job, right? I don't give a shit what anyone says. Lanny Poffo called me that night. He goes, "What the fuck is going on?" Flipping out, right? Flipping out. Who else? It's like 5 guys wrestles. Okay. Right? Anyway, Jimmy attacks him. Literally attacks Marty. So now I'm like, holy shit, what do I do? Now the asshole producer catches me getting Jimmy off of Marty. Right? Because he's dumb, right? Yeah. But it's like, so that's why I said it was a work shoot. Me and Marty did not get along. The fight was fake, but the fight afterwards was real. Jimmy was strangling the shit out of Marty Jannetty, had him in a sleeper hold, and he was choking him. And I'm like, and look, it's not that Marty isn't a tough guy, but I don't care. You know what? Marty Jannetty's not the biggest guy. Jimmy's a pretty big guy, and if he gets you from behind, what are you gonna do?
You're right.
Goes back to that Seth Rollins thing. So, oh, that guy beat up Seth Rollins. Dude, he attacked Seth Rollins, was already attacked him. What's Seth Rollins supposed to do? I mean, come on. Yeah, so it was a work shoot. Got a lot of good press. But the heat with Marty was real. It was real.
Oh wow, that was. You guys push a lot of buttons and do a lot of heavy things, but you ever scared with YouTube, especially the way the algorithm goes today? You ever scared you might go a little bit overboard?
Yeah, our first channel got shut down. I know. So me and Jimmy were doing great, and we got suspended a record 7 times. 7.
Wow.
Is that 7? I don't know. I can't count.
Yeah, there you go.
So 7. And then they finally shut us down. I think the final one was Missy Hyatt. No, I'm sorry, it was Greg Valentine. Maybe Missy Hyatt, I forget. I think Missy Hyatt said she wanted to shoot Fauci in the head or something like that.
Okay.
So that's what me and Jimmy were gonna. You know what? We put all this work in. Fuck it, we're done.
Mm-hmm.
And then I said, all right, Jimmy, we should just try one more time. And
Mm-hmm.
the channel's recovered. Look, we got 25,000 subs. All right,
Mm-hmm.
it's in a world of entertainment or
Mm-hmm.
YouTube,
Yeah.
it's not a huge number. It's okay.
No.
You know what I mean? It's okay. But then the beginning of like the April of this year, the first channel got reinstated
Oh, it did. Wow.
because something I got a letter saying that they might have mistakenly taken the channel off, and I had a right to appeal, and I appealed. We
Mm-hmm.
got it back. But now we have to get all the watch hours back. And if you're not monetized, it's very difficult to get your watch hours. And
Mm-hmm.
especially, we're not doing original content on that channel. I don't want to waste my time, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I'm just feeding old shit to that channel, and hopefully
Yes.
we get the hours.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have this whole plan what I want to do with it. I think I kind of want to hand it off to this guy Bruce, who's a good guy, and I want to hand it off to another guy and let them run that channel. But look, man, in the world of YouTube, again, it's not just about YouTube though. You know what I mean, Joe? It's like people are like,
Mm-hmm.
James Romero's got 100,000 subscribers, or Hannibal's
Mm-hmm.
got 600. Dude, let me tell you something. First of all, these guys had to jump on you and me a long time. Okay,
Correct.
the
100%.
market is totally saturated.
Mm-hmm.
For guys like you and me, all these wrestlers have been used over and over. There's not much
Mm-hmm.
new shit out there, right? There's not
Yep.
much you can do.
No,
So it's much more difficult.
it is. 100%. It's much more difficult, and they don't have like the knowledge and everything that all of us have because we go back. But you and Monty, you and the Pharaoh, you guys were great together. But then I think he moved and you guys split for a little bit. Is that correct?
Yeah, so we had Karen McDaniel's
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
wife on, and they kind of hit it off.
Okay.
And then she asked Jimmy to move to Florida, and he went
Okay.
and lived with her, and I guess they got married. We're kind of not, me and Jimmy aren't kind of sure if the marriage was real. We're trying to figure that out. And then it just didn't work out, and then he came back, and
Mm-hmm.
I was happy for him. You know what I mean? But
Mm-hmm.
she seemed nice enough, but in the end, I got to tell you, just like the wrestling world, just another work,
Mm-hmm.
another
Yep.
work,
100%.
another come
You had
station.
a girl actually for a little while replace him on. Who was
Uh,
that?
yeah, that was probably the biggest mistake of
I
my life.
remember that. She came to the
Yeah,
big event actually with
yeah,
you. I remember, and I
that
remember
was
seeing.
that was. So I'll give you the whole story. You're asking, I'll give it.
Go ahead, tell me.
So Matt Riddle has a girlfriend,
Okay.
and supposedly he abuses her. Supposedly, allegedly.
Allegedly.
Somehow I contact her. She contacts me. She comes on the show. Wicked tongue, right? Pew.
Mm-hmm.
Like shreds you.
Yep.
Very smooth. Like when I'm doing the interview, I'm like, this bitch will fucking kill you. Like this bitch will kill you. Like be careful.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, you know what? This girl's got some entertainment. At the point, Jimmy wanted to take a break from the show,
Okay.
so um, I asked her to come on as co-host, right?
Mm-hmm.
Thought I'd test her out, right? And oh, I'm sorry, no, okay, let me go back. I said to Jimmy, I want to bring her on the show. I think we
Okay.
need a third, and she's pretty hot, and let's get a third hot girl on there.
Okay.
I'm like, oh yeah, maybe this will give us a little more juice, right?
Mm-hmm.
These horny 50-year-olds that just want to stare into the computer. I'm like, fuck, they don't want to look at our faces, right? Why not look at theirs, right? At ours. So he didn't want anything to do with her. He's like, she's talentless, dude.
Mm-hmm.
And so I disagreed. In the end,
Okay.
Jimmy was right. Jimmy, if you're watching, you were right. You already know that. I already apologized to you. You were 100% right.
Okay.
Please forgive me, Jimmy. I'm sorry. It's not the
Mm-hmm.
first mistake I made. It's not the fifth mistake. It's probably the 80th mistake.
Okay.
Anyway, so I bring her on, do some interviews. She's fucking awful. And I bring her to New York. I'm like, let's promote
Yep.
ourselves. And I bring her up here, and we go to dinner. Me, her, and all the wrestlers. It's like a bunch of us, right?
Yep.
I forget what wrestlers were there. And, she's getting a little handsy with me, right?
Oh
And
boy.
it's in my town, right? And I'm married, and I'm like, yeah, I'm like kind of like chill the fuck out. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And again, when I mean handsy, it's like she's getting handsy, and it might sound like, oh right, Monty, I'm sure that's the case. No, this was the case, right? I
Mhm.
had no interest with her at all, right? I already
Okay.
knew she was a bit
Yeah.
forgot something,
Yeah.
I would say, right? So the station manager as the show, he goes, "Are you banging her?" And I'm like, "Dude, are you fucking kidding me? I wouldn't fucking touch that bitch, right?" But she hears me say this.
Oh boy.
All of a sudden, meltdown, crying, bleh. And then I bring in the big event. I don't remember when she was there. She was pissing me so. I wanted to kill her. Like I just wanted to kill her, and I couldn't
Mhm.
wait to get rid of her. And in the
Mhm.
end, we got rid of her. Done. And yeah, so she was Matt Riddle. So Matt Riddle, I also apologize. I attacked you, Matt, and I defended her. I realize now you were right. I do apologize, Matt Riddle. Yeah, Joe, I'm wrong a lot. So at least when I'm wrong, I admit it, right? So
Where's Monty and the Pharaoh show going to go from here? Where are you guys going to go? What do you guys want to do? Like, still do this, or you want to spread out?
so you know, um, this is where Jimmy and I are like a little bit of a crossroads, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like doing it like 8 years.
Yep.
He's kind of burnt out on it a little bit, right? Because
Hmm.
again, I understand where he's going. He's tired of fighting with this guy and that guy and this
Hmm.
guy. It's kind of got an old hat to him,
Yeah.
and which I totally understand.
Yep.
But the thing is, I said to him, whether people like us or don't like us, whatever the case is,
Hmm.
we're pretty popular, right?
Yes, you are.
And there could have been some opportunities for us if I didn't drag us. So the way it works is here, man. I pretty much control the show, right? I'll be
Hmm.
100% honest, right? I write the scripts with Jimmy. Don't get me wrong; he has
Okay.
input. It's not like that. I don't want, but I pretty much handle the business of the show,
Okay.
and I handle the direction of the show. I mean, we had a conversation just recently where Jimmy's like, "Look, I want to be more part of the alignment of the show."
Hmm.
And I said, yeah, that's fine. You know what I mean? But I feel like we're right there, Joe. I feel like we're right there. I actually was offered, myself personally, was offered a position doing morning sports radio through the
Wow.
internet. But the money was nothing, dude. And I have a real life job and a real life family I got to take care of, right? So it's
Yep.
like, this is all make believe, dude, right? You understand
Yes,
what I'm saying? This is make believe.
it
Um,
is.
I will tell you this: I've had problems at like jobs where people that hate me call the job and found out where I've worked and
Oh
like
God.
got into my real life, right?
Hmm.
So I mean, I'm the only idiot that uses his real name. I mean, I should have used a fake or a pseudo name, right? But I
Hmm.
didn't. So, um, but I told Jimmy, I feel like we're really this close. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Again,
Yeah.
are we gonna get rich doing this? No. But again, look, you're monetized, right?
Yes.
You know how much you bring in a
Yes.
month, all
Hmm.
right?
Yep.
So you're monetized on YouTube?
Yep.
Are you monetized on Facebook?
No, on Instagram though.
Okay, so I don't. So I'm not monetized on Insta. What's Insta's pay rate compared to YouTube? Probably not much, right?
Not much. Nope.
How about TikTok?
No, I'm not monetizing TikTok yet.
So we're monetized on Facebook and YouTube. So YouTube's a bigger, right?
Yes.
Part of my business structure here, this is what I kind of do is I kind of run businesses, so it's pretty easy for me to figure this out. We were
Hmm.
getting a lot of sponsors that were sponsoring a lot of stuff. So when you were talking about paying wrestlers early on, that
Yep.
was all sponsor money, right? It was like,
Yep.
sponsors would sponsor a show. Um, I kind of went away from that, right? And I went into the which I didn't want to do because it's just bad business. Is like, use the MMP code and get 10% off a Blue Chew.
Yep.
Look,
Yep. Yep.
if
Hmm.
anyone's using Blue Chew, they're not canceling their thing to fucking use your code. It's just bad, right? But
Yep.
anyway,
Hmm.
the point of the matter is that you know how much money you're going to get out of this,
Correct.
right?
Hmm.
You know how much money you have to put into it, right?
Yep.
If you use different programs like I use Opus, right? That's
Hmm.
$29 a month. You know, um, I use another program which costs like $50 a year. StreamYard for the year is what, $129, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and these are just the little things. And then forget about your time.
Yep.
Every little video you cut that goes to TikTok, YouTube, or whatever else, right?
Mm-hmm.
Takes time, man. It's just
Takes
like
time, of course.
everybody thinks it's like, oh, it's hours out of your life, if
Mm-hmm.
not hours out of your day,
Correct.
a full 40 hours out of your life sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Cutting videos into short is a lot of time.
It is.
So,
I have a job just like you, so this is just something on the side, and it's
right.
tough.
And then when you get home, then you're sitting there and doing all
Yep.
this other shit. Now
Yep.
again, it's a passion, right?
Yes, it is
It's
a
a
passion.
love
Correct.
of
Mm-hmm.
art, right? So there's nothing wrong with that. And again, my point is for even podcasters that don't get a lot of views, if they love to do this shit, just do it. I
Just
don't
do
give a
it. Correct.
shit. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? The
Yeah.
only thing, but the point, where do I see it going? I really feel like LaGreca's a piece of shit, and he sold me a bag of rocks because that guy was supposed to take care of something, and he knows he screwed me. So it's okay. In the end, we're gonna win this battle, so it's fine.
Yes. I mean, like I said, think of Mike and the Mad Dog, how they blew up. You guys are, you guys are not on that level, but you guys are really moving on the needle, man. I'm telling you.
A lot of
Everyone
people
knows who you
hate
guys
us.
are, especially
Who-
around here in
Let me
Jersey.
ask. Let me ask you, Joe. Who do they hate more, me or Pharaoh? Be honest.
I actually think they hate you more, believe it or
Yeah, I
not.
think so too, right? Like
They do.
everybody likes the Pharaoh, though, right?
They
Why
do, but
is
they
that?
hate you. And I know sometimes because they're like, oh, what a dick for asking that question. But you asked them because they're like, why do you ask that? But that's true. You asked the question no one wants to hear, but
I tell you, one time we were Magnum TA, right? And Jimmy wasn't there, and this guy Phil, he's was one of our family members, and he was in studio. So I said, "Come on, sit with me." And I
Mhm.
gave him the script, and I said, "At any point you don't want to ask a question, just hit me in the leg. I'll take it." You know what I mean?
Okay.
Literally, right, like 4 minutes into the interview, he's hitting me in the leg, and I'm like, "Oh my god, what a pussy!" But
Yeah.
the whole show, he's hitting me in the leg, like he didn't want to ask any of the questions I had on the script.
Exactly. And I think you guys did a great one on about Nancy Argentino too. That
Yeah,
story. That
yeah.
was. I mean, you asked and try and find out some of the hardest questions around that. Sometimes I wouldn't ask, but that's just me because I try to be reserved and quiet. But you are like, boom.
Listen, you know what? We're all different types of people.
Yes.
To me, it's like, again, I respect them. I respect from what they've
Hmm.
done for their industry. I respect them,
Yes.
but I gotta ask the question again. It's like, hey, you are great. Your best friend was Jimmy Snuka. I loved him. I loved him to death. But you didn't feel bad when he killed that girl? I just want to know.
Yep.
And they were like, well, whatever they say. The
Hmm.
best one's Tony Alice. Tony, do you know anything about what happened to Nancy? I just said, no, I don't want to talk about that. But
Hmm.
if you ask my ex-wife, he hit her so hard her head spin like the Exorcist. Here we are laughing about it, but it's
Yeah.
like,
Exactly. Did you have problems when you talked about the Ring Boy scandal? And that was big, but no one. Did you have problems getting people to talk about it?
no, no,
No, they
not
all
at
wanted to
all.
come.
But the problem was that, um, so at first you're like, Mel Phillips is a piece of shit, right? Like
Yes,
what a low life
piece of
piece of
shit.
trash. But as you dig into it, you start to realize, maybe this guy kind of got railroaded a little bit because now you start hearing these other stories. Like, and again, I'm not defending Mel Phillips, but the one thing I will say is I'm not so sure that guy did anything.
Really, I heard he always did. I'm not sure. I don't
Oh,
know.
yeah, well, again, let's just call it like it is. You got Shane Douglas tells a story. Well, I was walking on a plane, and Mel Phillips had a blanket, and there was a kid under there sucking his dick. Right?
Wow. Yep.
Go look it up.
Yeah, I
Oh,
gotta check
and
it
Shane,
out.
you just kept walking, right? It was okay. I'll just keep walking. I
Yeah.
won't. I'm not going to
Hmm.
interfere in child
Hmm.
molestation because I'm Shane Douglas.
Hmm.
Like, how do you even tell that story? So, my point is, if it's a true story, then you're a piece. You're as bad as Mel Phillips, Shane
Hmm.
Douglas. I mean, I
Yeah,
got to
you're
be
right.
100% honest with you. And if
Hmm.
you're not telling a true story, then you know what? You're kind of railroading Mel Phillips. And we've had some guys. Look, the one thing about the show is we're not laying judgment on anybody. Who are we to judge? I can't judge anybody,
Of
right?
course.
But we want people to be able to tell their story, good, bad, or indifferent, right?
Hmm.
I mean, if I would have had Rock and Roll Buck Zumhoff on, I would let him tell his story.
Hmm.
I would ask the questions, but I'd let him
Yep.
tell his story. But again, you got to let people tell their story. So I've heard both sides, and I heard Mel Phillips was a good guy, and I heard he was a bad guy. And all I'm going to say to people out there, from all the things that we've done on that subject matter, I am not so sure he is as guilty as people are claiming he is. That
Mm-hmm.
is all.
Mm.
Not saying he is, not saying he isn't. But I will tell you this: he was never arrested.
No, he
He
wasn't.
never went to jail.
Mm-hmm.
You know what
That's
just
right.
happened with Vince McMahon? Everybody, oh, look
Yep.
what
Look
happened.
what happened. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Really wasn't what everybody thought it was.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh.
Mm-hmm. What do you
All
think
the
about
big
Pat
mouths
Patterson? Patterson. What do you think about Pat Patterson?
think he was gay and he liked men, and you know what?
You think he was involved in that ring boy scandal for sure?
You know what? I kind of feel he wasn't. Did I think he fucked around with guys? Do I think he used his power sometimes
Mm-hmm.
to get laid? Yeah, sure.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
mean, how often does that happen? It doesn't make it right. All I'm saying is, doesn't is what it is. And you know what? You have choices in life, right?
Yeah.
If you want to suck your dick to make it to the top of WWE, then suck a dick,
Mm-hmm.
right? I mean,
Yeah.
that's what we're talking about, right?
Yep.
So I don't know what else to say about that.
Yep.
It's like, you know what? If you're gonna have sex with your boss to get to the top, that's your choice.
Yeah.
The
You're
only
right.
thing I tell you is when the money runs out, don't try to make claims that they shit on your head and everything else. That's
Yeah.
then all of a sudden, what was okay before isn't okay anymore.
Yep.
Once you take money, Joe, in my book, you've lost all credibility, right? That's it. You've taken money, it's over,
Yep.
right? Done.
Yeah. Good point. Good point. I know Bruno Sammartino tried to stand up a little bit with that stuff, but I don't know.
Oh, you mean afterwards?
Afterwards, yeah. But
Another afterwards guy, right?
yeah,
Oh, the great Bruno
you're right.
Sammartino. You know, he stood up for him on Donahue.
Mm-hmm.
Where were you the whole time before? And
Mm-hmm.
don't tell me Bruno Sammartino didn't have any clout.
Mm-hmm.
Now all these wrestlers. Oh, dude, you talk about Bruno Sammartino. Facts are facts. Where were
Yep.
you, bro? Where
Yep.
were you when it counted?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I'm sorry. I would think that if you saw some kid getting molested, you'd probably jump
Yeah,
in.
I would do something 100%.
Yeah, that's right. So
Mm-hmm.
would I.
Yep.
But Bruno Sammartino, superstar Billy Graham didn't do it. So it's
You know.
either again, it didn't happen, or you're a piece of shit.
Mm-hmm.
Just like Shane Douglas, it's either it didn't happen or you're a piece of shit. There's no in betweens here, right?
Yep. Yep. You're right.
That's it.
You had David Sammartino on, right?
I did.
And I remember you asking him about the relationship between him and his father.
Yeah.
That was I watched that once in a while. That's great interview because he seemed that he was very reserved to answer it, but you could tell they don't like each other. They didn't like each other, at least.
It was clear
Yep.
that he didn't like his father.
Yep.
Again, when it gets into families, it's a very difficult situation.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
That was, yeah.
but again, Joe, very hard to judge people, right?
Mm-hmm.
I give people credit for giving honest answers.
Mm-hmm.
And he gave an honest answer. And you know what? Um, and that's what Monte and Pharaoh is supposed. That's what we're about.
Yep.
Understanding the inner workings of a person and their true feelings. I mean, Christ Almighty, would you ever thought Chuck Palumbo would be the interview that he turned out to be?
No. No.
That guy
No.
was so off the hook. I was like, I gotta tell you, a lot of these guys amaze me. And again, most of them are all really good guys, and they're
Mm-hmm.
broken just like you and I are, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's it. And I give them credit for answering the questions, and they're not easy questions at all.
No. You're 100% right.
And sometimes I make mistakes, like I put up a video. Eric Sims claims he almost had sex with Leilani Kai, and Leilani Kai blasted me. And then I said, "Oh, okay, I'll take it
I'll
down."
take it down.
Yeah, sometimes I reach. Sometimes I reach.
Yeah, a little bit.
I mean, who would sleep with Eric Sims, right? I mean, I even said that to Leilani Kai. Come on, you can't take it seriously. Like, no one's gonna believe you would have slept with Eric Sims. I know I wouldn't have.
Missy Beefcake, you have some crazy interviews with her. I've seen them pretty good. She seems very vocal, and she seems to tell some stories. I don't know what's true or not because I hear different things.
Yeah.
What do you think about her, Missy?
Missy's a friend.
Yes.
I think sometime. Look, so I also had Barbie Leslie, or
Yes.
lack of a better term, Barbie Beefcake.
Late Barbie Beefcake, yes.
I also consider her a friend too. Both very nice people.
Yes.
Who just happen to hate each other with the ultimate passion, right?
Yeah.
Imagine if I could get them both on a show together. Fucking my God. They're both good people.
Hmm.
Missy is a showman, I think,
Hmm.
and Missy also has a tongue that could shred you in a thousand places, right?
Hmm.
But she's a good lady.
Hmm.
Whether I know things are true or not, I don't like. Again, who am I to judge? I just asked a question. You know, Joe, I ask you a question. You tell me that you went to the
Yeah.
moon and, fucked five aliens. I'm going to believe you, right? Or
Yeah.
I may not believe you, but at least I'll
Yeah.
act like I believe you,
Yeah.
right? So yeah, who am I? I can't. I can't judge that. I will tell you this though. A lot of things she has told me are true. Like
Hmm.
I found
Yeah.
out they're true. And
Yeah.
again, I'm as big as a Hogan fan as you are, and that guy at the end of his career was crucified, and I wish things would have ended up different for that guy in a lot of different ways. When I met him, he was nothing but a gentleman to me. He gave me
Hmm.
20 minutes of his time,
Hmm.
and he was the icon that I thought he was. So,
Wow, that's crazy. Because a lot of these wrestlers, they still try to work us all the time.
oh really? Are you sure?
All the time, man.
Listen, if you had a penny and you haven't eaten in 5 days and all you had was like a dab of water, they'd still take the penny from you. You know that, right?
100%. 100%.
And
They
any
would.
of these clowns that act like they're like, oh, they're my
Mhm.
friend. They're not your friend, dude. They're
No, they're
not
not.
your friend. Go
No,
ahead.
no. It's all business, and they just try to work you everything.
Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah. When you go to the New York big events, is there any wrestlers? I know you're there. You do your thing there. Anyone that you're kind of interested in seeing? Because I see sometimes you like to see all the older guys.
I'm a big Von Erich guy, right? So when Kevin was there, at first I was like, I'm not good. Again, I don't like going online, and
Hmm.
it's just too much shit, right?
Yeah.
And I'll
Yep.
be honest with you, Joe, when I go around, I usually don't have to like. They usually just take pictures
Yeah.
of
They
me,
usually
right?
take it.
So
Yep. Yep.
it's not really a problem. But when he was there, I was actually like starting to sweat. I'm like, fuck. I
Hmm.
might not be able to see this guy, right? And the Von Erichs are like to me are in fact, he went into my man cave. I got a lot of Von Erich shit. So
Oh, really?
I met him. He again was nothing but a gentleman. Um, Told me how much he liked the show. I've had it there, the daughter Holly
Hmm.
on, and a
Hmm.
lot of the WCCW guys, and he's been nothing but a gentleman. Me and Jimmy wanted to see Morocco, who we're having this Thursday, which we're very excited for.
Yes.
Uh, I wasn't interested in Martel. I don't know, man. I was like, you know what, Jimmy, we're never gonna see the guy again. We're gonna pay for an autograph and go,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
That was the biggest fucking mistake about it. And we ended up not paying. You know why?
Why?
Because once we did get the autograph, because we got VIP tickets, and
Yes.
they fucked up that shit so bad. I
Hmm.
went to my credit card company, I ain't paying this, and they took it back.
Wow.
Well, dude, we went online for 2.5 hours.
Jesus.
VIP is supposed to get priority. They were
Hmm.
letting all different types of people in there.
Yep.
And I'm
Hmm.
like, what are you guys doing? What? You know what? And they sold like, there was only supposed to be like 12 or 20 VIP tickets. They sold
Hmm.
like 100,
Yeah. That's
bait and
right.
switch
Hmm.
bullshit, right? So
Hmm.
at
Yeah.
this point, Monte and the Pharaoh won't be allowed back to the big event. Thank you.
Well, Tom Unger. He runs the event. I don't know if you know him.
He doesn't
He's over
like me.
there.
A lot of guys, I'm banned from the gathering too.
Are you really?
Well, yeah, because, oh, God forbid I talk about what's the guy that runs the gathering? What's his name?
I forget his name offhand.
Anyway, I guess his wife fooled around with an agent. We talked about it on the show about 10 times, and I guess he doesn't like it. And listen, to me, that's interesting. I'd like to know why a
Yeah.
guy's wife would leave him for a agent that looks like a fucking frog. But,
Hmm.
but
Yeah.
then when I saw what the guy looked like, and then I realized,
Yeah. The shit that went around in the 80s, the stuff that Vince McMahon did, you would
yeah,
never see that on TV today.
no,
No, like shaving the Haiti kid's head or blackface on Piper. That shit wouldn't fly today. You know that.
there's nothing would fly.
No,
There's nothing. You can't do anything.
no,
And
100%.
I mean, Christ Almighty, I mean, Sophia Cunningham at WNBA, all she said was, "Hey, I think girls should play against girls," and then she gets raked over
Yeah.
the coals.
Hmm.
I was
Hmm.
watching a Saturday Night Live thing that was never put on air. It was this doctor that all he did was deliver girls.
Hmm.
Had this magic touch, right?
Okay.
And these guys keep on coming in, and they're like, what's the percentage? And then they find out there's an operation. Like 50% of the kids need operations though. And it's basically he's turning men into girls. And if they would show that on Saturday Night Live, forget about it. People would be like
Yep.
losing their shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep. That's
yeah,
pretty crazy.
yeah.
So like I do wrestling, but I also know a lot. If you think wrestling is bad, bodybuilding world is just as bad. Trust me. I do a lot of things with bodybuilding. I'm friends with Ronnie Coleman and all these guys. But do you also like football and baseball and all the other sports?
So yeah, I've always, I'm always been a sports fan. The problem is like I've just been with the whole wrestling thing, and then just in life in general.
Yep.
As I've gotten older, I fail to idol worship anymore. I think that's like one of my strengths too. It's like these guys are in front of you. They're just another person. They're not
Mm-hmm.
any better than you. And oh, okay, yeah, they could fake punch and kick. I mean, when you talk to these bodybuilders, how often do you ask them, like, hey, growing up when you were a bodybuilder, did you have to jerk off in front of these guys while the guy jerked off while you posed in front of him in a hotel room for $500? Because you know that shit was going on the
It
regular,
was
right?
going on, but I never asked them. Someone else did.
Next time you need to ask that question because I asked Tatanka that. You should check that out in the interview because he was talking about when he was bodybuilding. I go, how many times did you have to go in a hotel room while he jerked off? He's like, well, a couple of times.
Yes, it was gay for pay. That was what it was. It was gay for pay. That's what they
That's
called
it,
it.
man. And you know what? Again, no, I was huge into bodybuilding, dude. Huge
Mm-hmm.
into bodybuilding. Loved it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What about baseball and football? Yankees, Mets, Jets.
Yankees. Grew up a Met fan. Turned to the Yankees. I was a Knicks fan for such a long time. I'm a Jet fan, which is just totally
Yeah, I'm a Jets fan
useless.
myself.
You
Mm-hmm.
know, when the Knicks won the NBA title this year, I was totally so disinterested in it. It's like
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like, I don't know, man. I'm into politics now, right? So it's
Mm-hmm.
like when I hear an athlete spew their nonsense about politics, it like just turns me off. It's like,
Yep.
bro, just catch a football, throw a baseball, shut the fuck up. I don't want to hear your opinions. And if you look, Kevin Nash seems like a nice guy, right? He's Sean Oliver's buddy, right?
Yep.
It's like Kevin Nash. If you want to get into politics, bro, go become a politician. And the reason I say this is because the next person that's listed says, well, they have a right to speak about politics. Yeah, they do. But here's the problem. When you're famous like that, you can influence so much, and it's
Correct.
unfair,
Mm-hmm.
right? A LeBron James can influence a
Mm-hmm.
child more than their own parents can.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you have an unfair influence. It's like Jimmy Kimmel using his show to direct politics. You
Yep.
never saw Johnny Carson do that shit,
Never.
right?
Never.
So that's why I've become disinterested in sports because it's not about sports anymore. It's about everything but sports. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, listen, I'll be honest with you, I love the WNBA, but I also love women's wrestling too because I think women are more old school than anybody. They'll put
Mm-hmm.
on a show better than what we're watching now, right?
Mm-hmm. 100%. And I'm like you. I'm a Trump guy, so that might get me
Yeah.
some heat. But I'm a Trump guy. I am. I think he was better. Would have been better than Kamala. I know Sean Oliver. I watched that little show. You guys had a little debate. And I like Sean a lot, but I think some of his politics is a little bit too far left. You
Well,
agree?
I'll be fair with you. I think Trump's not doing a very good job right
I
now.
agree. I agree. I 100%
But
agree.
that again, you and me being on the right, someone on the left will never even say that.
Yeah, you're right.
And I'm not going to talk about Fauci on your show because I don't want to get your show in trouble. But the fact of the matter is, the man is good. The man has killed more people than
Yeah, 100%.
some
You know.
other people
Yeah.
we know.
And for Biden to pardon him before he did anything wrong, he didn't do anything wrong, and he was pardoned, tells you something's going on.
Well, if you ask people, they'll say they do that shit all the time, which they may. And again, Joe, the reality of it is none of them give a shit about any of us anyway. So really, you know what?
Mm-hmm.
We're just pawns in the game.
Yeah.
Let me ask you
100%.
this: being a podcaster, right? And you're good at what you do. I watch your show often, right?
Mm-hmm.
Does it bother you like a Denise Salcedo gets the in at Sirius XM or those two clowns on Sunday? I don't know. I forget their names, but does it bother you like when
It
you see a
does.
Salcedo getting backstage passes
It does.
to the
Mm-hmm.
WWE events?
Yep, 100% it does. Because that's the way everything's going now. It's going all influencers and stuff. I don't know. It just bothers me. What about you? Does it bother you?
Yeah, pisses me off. It
I am
pisses me
too.
off when I turn on a reaction video and there's 8,000 people watching it, and the guy is watching wrestling,
Mm-hmm.
and people are watching him watch wrestling. I'm like,
Yeah.
what?
Mm-hmm.
What?
Yeah, that's crazy. That's our world
I
today.
but let me me ask you something. Do you know Denise Salcedo, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So what do you think? Do you think she's talented? Be honest.
No,
Why?
I just don't think she knows enough. I don't think she knows enough. To be honest with you.
I agree.
So I don't think, that's my opinion, but I kind of try not to get too crazy like you or straightforward. I kind of a little bit conservative, I guess. I try to
I
be.
know. Listen, I understand, and I'll tell you like my problems with her.
Go
For
ahead, tell me.
example, I think her fucking voice is annoying. I think she's annoying, and I think she's not even good looking. And I go, what's there? Like, what make? Well, we had the conversation with Vince Russo, right? Russo's
Hmm.
like, Dave LaGreca told Russo, he said it on our show, said she's a woman and she's popular with the men. So we're bringing her on, which makes sense. Go back to when you asked me about the girl I brought on. See, I had the
Hmm.
right thing in mind. I just had
You
the
did.
wrong person in mind, right?
Hmm.
But yeah,
Hmm.
it bothers me that I see a lot of these guys in a bed. Not once have we ever been invited to go backstage. Not once.
Wow.
I've tried to get passes, right?
Hmm.
You know, not once. So,
Wow.
again,
That's
let's be honest too, Joe. And look, you look much younger than me, so I give you that credit. But no one wants. I said this to Jimmy. No one wants to watch like today's audience doesn't watch two old guys, right? They just don't. If look, someone said it on one of our social media pages, and I totally agreed. He said if you guys were in your 20s, you guys would be fucking super famous. And
hmm.
you know what? They're right. We're old. People don't like old people, man. That's just what it is.
Well, maybe if you got some tits or something, and
Well,
get
that I
some
was thinking about that. I was thinking about putting a wig on, some lipstick, putting these out there, and going, "Duh,
in today's world, that's
Roman
fine.
Reigns, Roman
Tran-
Reigns, Roman Reigns," and just sit there. "Ugh."
transgender, and you'll be fine. There you go. You'll be perfect. You and the Pharaoh will be back there, no problem.
Yeah, you ain't kidding, man.
It's pretty
You ain't
crazy.
kidding. You
But the
ain't
way the
kidding.
world is changing now, that everything is changing. Even UFC with the Dana White, all he brings is influencers and people now. They, like Kevin Iole was a good friend of ours, and he's a Hall of Fame sports writer, UFC fighter. He was having problems. That's why he retired because Dana White was not giving him the time anymore. He was going all to the young crowd, the young
Right.
influencers, and everything.
Yeah.
So
Listen, it makes business sense, right? I mean, it's the reality of it. Why do you think James Romero is so popular?
yeah,
Answer me that one. Why?
because he's young and he has the younger crowd, I think.
He's got the younger crowd, and he's got that arrogant
Hmm.
English accent. And but by the way, the guy's so scripted. I mean, I tell you one thing, I just don't like the scripted shit. It's like you could tell people like have their one-liners ready
Hmm.
to go. Okay, when can I fit this line in?
Hmm.
You know what I mean? When we go on, we like have a script, but it's like we just
Hmm.
like we're doing. We're just
Yeah, we're just
bullshitting.
bullshit. We're
I
bullshit.
didn't know what I was going to say tonight,
Yeah,
but
we're just bullshitting. Hmm.
I feel a little cleansed anyway. So let me ask you this: do you love what you do, though? Do you love this?
I do like talking to people like you that have some interest, like in wrestling, some things. Same. I love talking to it. If I didn't get paid, I wouldn't care. I'd still do this.
Who's your favorite interview
But that you guys did,
that you did?
that I did. My favorite interview was probably, um, I'm gonna say the Warlord. I love the Warlord.
Good guy, really good guy.
I love Terry. I thought Terry was just really straightforward with me because he's like myself. He loved bodybuilding too, growing up. So we had a really good conversation, and he was flowed really well. I like Terry. What about you? Who else did you say you liked?
Man, I gotta be honest with you. I like a lot of these people. I just
Yeah.
had Teal Piper on. I was just so like when I see younger people that just have their shit together, I'm always
Hmm.
impressed. Right? I'm like,
Hmm.
she really impressed the shit out of me. Shelly Martinez, I think, is an
Hmm.
open book. I think she's got tons of talent. I don't know why she's not catching on as
Hmm.
much as I thought she would.
Hmm.
Um, I'm still yet to figure that one out. But again, I don't know why Stevie Richards hit the ground running.
Hmm.
I,
Hmm.
I knew Maven would. I would tell you this, and that's another thing. I'll say this again. Whoever's watching, right? Here's the
I
deal.
know Maven. I know Maven personally.
So then do me a favor. Tell him to say thank you to me and Jimmy because the reality of it is no one cared about him until he came on our show, hit
Hmm.
a home run, and before you know it, someone sees that show, puts him on YouTube, and the
Hmm.
guy's killing it. And he is still yet to say thank you because that's where it came from. And I don't give a shit. No one knew anything about that guy until we interviewed him and he hit a home run and they said, this guy's got fucking talent. So when
Yeah.
you see him,
I'm going.
please,
I'll text him and
you
tell
gotta
him.
say, he owes us a
Hmm.
thank you on
Yeah.
air, thanking, and
Yeah.
that's a fact.
Yeah.
Look,
But
he's
you guys always got the guests on that, like, always we couldn't find or no one knew where they were, they would just pop up on your show. And that was great about you guys. You would find the guests that no one knew where he was, whether someone's wife or someone's uncle, whoever came on the show.
I mean, one of my favorite ones, we did the guy who called it the cop who killed kayfabe, the guy that pulled over the Iron Sheik and Axel, Jim Duggan. I love that interview, man. He tells the whole story. I love that interview.
That's great. That is great. The other one, yeah, on the New Jersey Turnpike when they got pulled over.
Yeah, we've had Brian Adidas on, Adias, Holly Von Erich. Oh, she was incredible, dude. She was so good, and answered every question as emotional as it became. Rip Rogers, I consider a friend. The guy's a great guy.
How do you get a hold of some of these people? Do you go through an agent, through Instagram? How do you get a hold of them?
You know what? A lot of them are reaching out to us now.
Oh, okay.
So it's like a different game, right? So before it was like go through an agent, right?
Yeah.
Now it's like a lot of them just reach out to us. I mean, Morocco, we saw at the big event. I said, dude, when are you coming on the fucking show? He's like, oh, I love your show. Come on. And I still, until he shows up Thursday, I won't believe it.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
You guys going to StreamYard, or is he come flying in? He's coming in?
No, we're just going to do it over the internet. Okay. We're at a studio right now.
Okay.
I'm trying to work out something to get us into another studio. I will tell you this, like, a huge fan of Morocco, but respectfully, he's a very domicile interview.
He is
flat. And I'm nervous, right? Because it's like, I wanna get the Don Morocco that,
eat the meatball parm sandwich.
I want to get that Don out of him, and that's what we got to do. We got to get that out of him. Right?
Yeah, because his promos were some of the best. But you're right; he's very docile, very, calm and
very flat, very flat. Yeah. And again, not knocking him. It's just he's very calm. But I want to see, I want to see that Don Morocco, right?
Yeah.
My favorite interviews with the ladies, right? The ladies always seem to be pretty good. But I had this one girl on a couple of weeks. I can't remember her name. She was so fucking bad, dude. I couldn't wait to get off the interview. I'm like, so what do you think about today's political climate? She goes, oh, I really just watch Love Island. I'm like, whatever, dude. I can't do this. I can't. You know what? You want to be a wrestler? I don't even know what, Listen, here's the deal. This is almost like practicing too, right? So when you're getting interviewed, you have your shit together. Be engaging, right?
Yeah.
You can't be a fucking stump on a log. It's you're a wrestler. 100%. That's what you're supposed to be known for.
Exactly.
And that's the other thing I hate. I'm going to leave you with this. This is the most thing I hate. People that do real life conversations and then turn it into kayfabe conversations. Hey Joe, did you see that rape on 22nd Street? Oh yeah. And by the way, in your match against Charlotte Flair, what's going to have you win that match? It's like, dude, just it's either play it kayfabe or just straight up. It's like some of these guys just annoy the shit out of me. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I wanted to ask you one more thing about Hannibal. He's obviously he was popular at one time, but now he's not, and he's had so many issues. You know that, and I know that, and a lot of things in the background I've heard he's done that are not really great. And I saw him pick on you guys a few times. He's thrown his jabs at you guys. And I think it's because you guys are now much more popular than him and ever were. What do you think about Hannibal?
I think Hannibal's going to kill somebody, and I'm being honest about that. He's a psycho, and he claims he never watches our show, but meanwhile he's tried to hit us just this year alone with 10 strikes.
Wow.
That have failed 10 times. 10 times.
Wow.
Is that up there 10 times? All right. So yeah, no, I do. I think he's a psycho, and I think he's dangerous, and I think I don't think he's a good person. How's that? I really don't. And again, this goes to what I believe in, and whether I'm right or wrong, I don't know. Right? I don't know him personally. I do know what Kevin Sullivan has told me about him, and I'll talk about this because Kevin's no longer with us. But Kevin said he was a psycho, and Kevin did not like him. Whether if he wants to pass on that him and Kevin were friends, no. That I can tell you a fact that Kevin did not like him. He's not a good guy, and he's not talented. And
he thinks he is.
Well, it's a shame, a guy like that. Again, here's the thing, man. You can't have 600,000 subscribers, Joe, and then your videos only get 1,000 views.
You're right.
The math doesn't work.
Nope.
This is all mathematics, guys, right?
Yeah.
We have 25,000 subscribers. We average about 1,000 views a video, sometimes 100, sometimes 150, sometimes wherever it catches the algorithm. But it's, and then sometimes it's 10,000 or 20,000 or 30,000 or 50,000. It depends, right? So my point is that it's all in line with itself. So when I see a guy like this dude that used to be on our channel, right? He opened up his own channel. He's got for a year and a half. He's now got 290 subscribers, but he does a show with this guy calls himself Nikita Brezhnikov, right? And the show regularly gets 400 to 500 views a week. So you tell me, if that show gets 500 views, how couldn't the channel have 500 subscribers?
You're right.
It doesn't make any sense. It's
stupid.
stupid.
He bought his
math.
subscribers. He bought all his subscribers.
And everybody does that. All these people do that, dude. And you know what's the point? Because by buying, if it's just because you want to look like you're popular, okay. But it's like it's about making money too, right? You want to support the show. Look, if your show generated 15 grand, you might have paid Ric Flair.
Yeah, exactly.
You might have.
I might have
yelled at you, but yeah. I would have, but just to keep that 15 grand. But
exactly.
But yeah, again, I just don't think Hannibal's a good guy. I think Romero has a lot of talent, but he's panicking, right? Because all his eggs were in the Dutch Mantel basket, and that's falling apart now. If you notice, Dutch's videos are going way down.
Yeah, and I'm not a Dutch Mantel fan. I'm not. He doesn't do anything.
Listen, the guy was a useless wrestler, in my opinion. He's a good podcaster, though. He's okay. Again, you know what, man? I got to be honest. The one thing I do like about me and Jimmy's show is we try to entertain people and make people laugh. As ridiculous as it is, right? It's like, we just try to. We're stupid. We're stupid old guys that are 50-something that act like we're 10, right?
Yep.
I like to be entertained. I don't want to, again, I don't want to hear about like all the pain. There's enough pain and agony out there, right?
Yep, exactly. And you don't take this seriously. This people wrestling around in underwear seriously.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you. I mean, come on now.
Yes.
You're 100% right. Like, what are we getting all upset for? I go back to what I started the show of. JD from New York was gone on this rant. Not that I was looking for it. Came across I was at the gym. I was on the elliptical. Came across my X feed, and I'm watching. The guy is screaming about Danhausen. I'm like, oh my god, bro. It's like if you have nothing better to do than worry about Danhausen. It's like. I don't know what to say about you, man. I really don't. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
You're 100% right, man.
You know why people get mad? It's like football because they bet on football and they lose all their money, and now they're mad because the Jets suck and they cost them $5,000, right? But, you're gonna get mad about Danhausen or who won the Royal Rumble? Who gives a shit?
Who gives a shit, right? But that's what we do, But thank you for your time. Where can people find you? Your channel.
You can catch us on all social media. Catch us on X, Monte the Pharaoh, YouTube, Monte the Pharaoh, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and also New York Cable, where over 150,000 people see us weekly. We're also distributed audio through Believe. That's BLEAV. We ask you please like and subscribe. Again, we love just having a good time with everybody. And Joe, we met you through this. See, wrestling's not so bad. I met a person like you. We became friends.
We became friends, and I support your show. Everything you guys do, you guys are the best. You're New York's best. That's for sure. 100%, man.
I love you for saying that, man. And
thanks,
much
man.
Respect for what you do. Keep it going, bro.
You too, brother.
No paying Ric Flair 15.
I'm not paying Ric Flair. All right, love you, brother. Talk to you later, Mikey.
Bye-bye.
You got it, brother.
Started from nothing. Jersey streets, we owned it. JerZey pumping iron. Body builder coated. Beans on the